Those of you that know me know I like to run a pretty tight ship when it comes to these galas. And the fact that we are already 22 and a half minutes late gives me anxiety. But y'all are awesome. You're rolling with the punches, and I cannot thank you enough. They are catching up in the kitchen, but we're going to go ahead and start our program. Salads are being served. And, well, you'll hear more from me later, but I just wanted to explain why we're running late, ask your indulgence and patience. I can promise you a very, very special evening. And without further ado, I'd like to turn the evening over to our MC, Nathan Arst.
Okay, good evening, and welcome to JSU's 21st Gala. Yep. My name is Nathan Arst. I'm a senior at Parkway Central High School, and I just want to thank you guys for coming out to support JSU. It really means a lot to us. Recently, Judaism has been at the forefront of my mind. I've constantly been reflecting on what it means to be Jewish. JSU is an integral part of my Jewish identity, which is why I'm so grateful to be a part of it. When I walk into a JSU event, I'm greeted with tons of friendly, outgoing people that remind me why I love being Jewish so much. Being able to continue my Jewish relationships, learning, and experiences allows me to bring in the significance of other Jewish events into my daily life. For instance, my bar mitzvah, one of the happiest and proudest days of my life, is a day that I often find myself remembering. Last April, I was fortunate to travel to New York with my temple's confirmation class to learn about my ancestors' immigration experiences going through New York and Ellis Island. This brought a whole new wave of appreciation and connection to my faith and my family. Over the summer, I embarked on what I would call the single most incredible experience of my life, going to Israel and participating in the JCC Maccabi games with over 1,000 teenagers from all across the globe. Yep. It's safe to say that I have an immensely strong love for Judaism and my experiences within the Jewish community. JSU is such a special way to continue my relationship with Judaism, appreciate past Jewish accomplishments, and pave the way for my future endeavors within Judaism. But about a month ago, however, my relationship with Judaism reached a new level. I felt senior year was going well. I was enjoying my time at school and with my friends and with my family. I was just living life. I was having a good time. But then tragedy struck. And Jewish people in Israel, many of which were kids just like me, with the same values and habits and interests and hopes and dreams, faced unimaginable horrors on October 7th. Amidst the tragedy, I started witnessing something interesting. Strangely, my connection with Judaism began to grow. There was something inspiring about seeing Jewish people around the world come together to unite and support the people in Israel. One key example is at JSU. Rabbi Yitz gathered us all together on the following Wednesday so we could support each other in a time of struggle. And I could tell that I wasn't the only one that appreciated JSU, given as how we had a full room with tons of people that created a powerful community. The sense of community that JSU provides is something that I don't take for granted, and it's something that I am extremely grateful for. Also, the fact that so many non-Jewish people are so comfortable walking into JSU to support Judaism speaks to the welcoming environment that JSU facilitates. Besides the safe space JSU provided for me after the tragedy on October 7th, it has always been a constant source of joy for me. Of course, the pizza and the variety of cool activities such as making sukkahs out of graham crackers and candy is always really fun. And I can't forget about the delicious free ice cream at Cold Stone. Another cool aspect of JSU is meeting Jewish teens from other schools. I remember just a couple weeks ago, I met a kid at a JSU sushi making event that I eventually saw at a high school football game, and it was pretty cool to go up to him and make a connection with somebody that I met through JSU. Examples like these, where it's so easy to make connections with other Jewish teens, is one of the many reasons why I appreciate JSU. And so I thank all of you for being here and for your endless support for JSU, and it has been extremely important for me and for my peers in creating our Jewish identity and our connection to Israel. Although we are here celebrating 21 amazing years of JSU inspiration, the pain and suffering of our brothers and sisters in our homeland, Israel, weighs heavily in our hearts and in our minds. Therefore, I ask the director of JSU, Rabbi Mike Ravinsky, to lead us in the recitation of Psalm 130.
Please rise. Shir amalos mimamakim krasicha Adonai. Adonai shema b'koili tiyeno aznecha kashuvois l'kol tachanunoi. Im avaynos tishmar ya Adonai mi yamoid. Ki im chaslicha leman tivarei. Ki visi Adonai kivsa nafshi. Velid varai hoichalti. Nafshi ladonai mi shaimerim laboiker, shaimerim laboiker. Yachel Yisrael el Adonai. Ki im Adonai achesed varbeim oifedus. V'hu yiftes Yisrael mikol avaynosav. Please remain standing. We will be reciting a special Misha Berach for the Chayalim, our beloved soldiers who are defending not only the land of Israel and the Jewish people there, but each and every one of us, wherever we may be found in the world. I'd like to ask Rabbi Yitzdaum and Rabbi Shmuel Miller, the head of Epstein Hebrew Academy, to lead us in the Misha Berach. You have copies on your table as well.
Misha Berach Avoseinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Hu yevarech es chayalei tzva hagana leYisrael Hu yevarech es chayalei tzva hagana leYisrael Hu yevarech es chayalei tzva hagana leYisrael Ha'omdim al mishmar artzeinu v'yarei Eloheinu migivol halevanon v'ad midbar Mitzrayim u'min hayam hagadol ad levo ha'arava bayabasha ba'avir ba'avir u'bayam hu yevarech es chayalei tzva hagana leYisrael Adonai es oyeveinu. Hakamim aleinu nigafim lifneihem. Hakadosh Baruch Hu Ishmor v'yatzil es chayaleinu Mikol tzara v'tzuka u'mikol nega u'machala V'yishlach bracha v'hatzlacha B'chol ma'aseh yedeihem U'yevarech es chayalei tzva hagana leYisrael Yahad beir soneinu tachtehem V'yatreim b'cheser Yeshua u'vateres nitzachon V'yikuyam ba'em oy hakasot Ki Adonai Elohechem ha'olech imachem Lilachem lachem imoy veichem lehoshia eschem v'namara Amen.
Achenu kol beis Yisrael, hanesunim b'tzara u'v'shivya, ha'omedim bein bayam u'vein bayabasha, hamakom yirachem aleihem v'yotzi'em mitzar l'revacha, u'me'afela le'ora u'mishibud le'geula, hashta ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'nomar amen. Our brothers, the entire house of Israel, who are found in distress and captivity, who are situated whether at sea or whether on land, may the Omnipresent One have mercy on them and remove them from distress to relief, from darkness to light, from subjugation to redemption, now, speedily, and in a time that comes soon, and let us say, Amen.
Some of you were pointing at the screen. You can be seated. I've always wanted to be a congregational rabbi. Please rise. Please be seated. You might have recognized a lot of the faces in this video, specifically the stills. The still pictures were pictures of the alumni of JSU, NCSY, and other teams that we have crossed paths with over the last 21 years. On your table, you will find a Misha Berach card for the soldiers in Hebrew and in English. It is something beautiful, and we encourage to say once a day, God does hear our prayers. And on the back side are pictures of many of our alumni from the St. Louis area, and so on. Please enjoy your salads, and I will give you a shout out when the buffet is ready. And again, thank you for your patience. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are still in line at the buffet, please continue. If you are still eating, please continue. I'd like to begin my remarks tonight I'd like to begin with a special thank you to the volunteers headed by my associate Alana Minoff, who helped facilitate tonight's event. Barbara Shamir, Penny Alper, Peggy and Jay Umansky, Michelle Brooks, and Judy Haber. And I'll just stick this in. Everyone keeps asking how we found this venue. I take zero credit. It was actually Caroline Goldenberg, the development director of Epstein Hebrew Academy, who told it to Alana, and they came out, and Alana said, "This is where we're doing it." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." JSU is blessed with the most talented and awesome staff. Rabbi Yitzdaum, Sam Zitten, Chaya Manny, and Alana Umansky-Minoff. Their selfless dedication to the teens goes beyond anything one can imagine. Only their families and Hashem know the true extent of their sacrifices on behalf of His children. May Hashem repay you in kind with much nachas from your children and one day your grandchildren for generations to come. 21 years of growth doesn't happen overnight. It takes hard work. It takes the hard work and dedication and the generosity of individuals to lay the foundation and each level of construction. I would like to acknowledge the presence of previous year honorees, so many of whom are here this evening, as well as 4 of our 5 previous chairs. Please know that JSU is where it is today in large part because of you. Please stand so we can say thank you. Let's go. Previous honorees, come on, there's like 15 of you. And our chairs. Thank you. I would also like to thank the Jewish Federation of St. Louis and its president, CEO, Brian Herstig, for their continuing partnership, and to the many foundations that enable JSU to continue its holy work. I want to express our deepest gratitude to the OU and NCSY for the funding and support they so generously provide to enable JSU to function, as well as the extremely generous contribution they have made towards the new JSU Operations Center. Tonight, we celebrate the accomplishments of some very special people, all of whom you will hear about in their tribute videos. Scott Biondo, who is an inspiration to all of us. Scott, may we all continue to love and care for each other the way you love and care for the Jewish people. Judith and Ted Isaacs, 2 of the nicest people you will ever meet, who quietly go about strengthening our community and the Jewish people. And Jackie and Howard Oppenheimer. They brought in a cheering crowd. 2 of my closest friends who have been by my side since the day my family and I moved to St. Louis some 30 years ago. All I will say, Howard, is you have been my Izzy Goldberg. To our chair, Paul Gallant, you are much more than a board chair. You have become a dear friend, Torah study partner, confidant, and the driving force behind JSU. Hashem has truly blessed me and JSU by bringing you into our lives. Acharon Chaviv, The last is the dearest. I want to thank my very special wife, Selena, whose support allows me to live the dream of trying to make a difference in the Jewish people. And to my children, two of whom are here this evening, Ariella and Yossi. Anything that JSU is today, you have a hand in. JSU has been blessed with the creation of several scholarship funds. Tonight, I'm excited to officially announce the creation of the Eileen Centuria Scholarship Fund. This merit-based scholarship fund, created by Eileen's husband, Richard Centuria, in her memory, will annually award a male and a female JSUer assistance to spend either a summer on a JSU Israel summer program or a gap year on a JSU-affiliated program in Israel. Thank you, Richard. JSU was created to fight the waves of assimilation crashing upon our youth. For 21 years, day in and day out, JSU staff has made their way into the schools of our community, carefully fanning the Pintele Yid, that little Jewish spark which resides in each of us, by showing them the beauty and relevancy of Judaism to their daily lives. This year, however, things have changed. The news loves to showcase the rallies and the college campus movements, but I can tell you with absolute certainty that what is happening in the public high school campuses, in a sense, is 10 times worse than what's going on the college campuses. How is that possible, you ask? I'll tell you. In college, students are free to come and go as they wish. They can get into their cars and drive away. High school teens can't. In college, if it really gets too rough on campus, you can transfer. High school teens cannot. In college, you are an adult. You have a skill set to deal with the bullying and the rhetoric. In high school, you are still a teenager in your formative years, and your trajectory of your life and your psyche is still taking shape. What are the teens experiencing on their high school campuses? They want to understand why they are being bullied on social media for being Jewish. They are confused when their peers, who they thought were their friends, are calling for the destruction of Israel and the death of Jews around the world. They don't understand why their teachers, who are supposed to be a guide for their intellectual and ethical development, wear Free Palestine t-shirts and not only refuse to call out the slaughter of 1,400 of our Jewish brothers and sisters as evil, but instead blame the Jews for these atrocities. The shouts of Hitler was right in the halls and the bathroom leave our teens scared. But it's not just the teens. It is the parents. It is the faculty who are calling upon JSU for assistance and guidance as they try to navigate this new reality of open, virulent anti-Semitism from their peers and, yes, even from school administrators. In short, JSU is now filling the additional role of providing a sense of safety, support, as well as the knowledge and tools to navigate the current challenges of the Jewish people. How do we do this? Great question. To be honest, we are figuring it out as each new challenge arises. But let me share with you a few things that have taken place just the last few weeks. Of course, our JSU clubs provide a weekly forum to discuss the latest developments and to provide a safe environment for the teen to share their thoughts and experiences. But even here, there must be a balance. So we do not neglect showing the teens the fun, exciting, and happy aspects of being part of the Jewish people. In addition to our clubs, JSU staff continue to meet with faculty, school and district administrators to both sensitize them to the feelings and needs of the students, but to also call them out when necessary on the many communications they have sent to parents and/or faculty that demonstrate a total lack of knowledge of the facts, are laden with moral equivalencies, and only further the anxiety and the fears of their constituencies. 2 weeks ago, JSU was asked to speak to over 100 parents of the Ladue School District to share ideas on how to support their children and respond to the micro and macro aggressions they are experiencing. Tomorrow is a meeting with the Director of Diversity of the Clayton School District to discuss the concerns and fears of students, parents, and faculty which have gone unaddressed. We have been part of group meetings with our elected officials to address these concerns. Most recently, we met with Congressman Wagner's liaison to the school districts, who has told us her office is at our disposal to address any issue as it arises. She told me she expects reports. Most of us have never experienced, I say most of us, have never experienced the open and blatant anti-Semitism that we are seeing today. Yet, this is the world in which we find ourselves. But thanks to your partnership and your support, JSU is there and will always be there with God's help to provide the educational, emotional, and moral support and advocacy for our youth, not just today, but to help navigate whatever environment we as a people may find ourselves. Tonight, we celebrate. And yes, even though we cannot stop the tears, nor feeling the pain of our brethren back home in Israel, we celebrate because that is the greatness and the legacy of the Jewish people, the ability to rejoice despite the tears. For 40 years, Moses led the Jewish people through the desert. For us in JSU, it's only been 21. But now, we are finally reaching our destination. Thanks to the Thanks to the visionary leadership of Michael Steinberg and the Steinberg Family Foundation, with help from he'll be angry, but again, I'm going to mention him anyway, Murray Bressler. He's going to cause my baggage to get lost somewhere in China or something. Along with the OU, the Silk Foundation, Melody and Irv Boehm, Susan Feigenbaum, and Jay Pepos, and a couple of anonymous donors, JSU purchased the property at 8037 Delmar, with a special thank you to Young Israel of St. Louis for selling us the property. This property will become the site of the new JSU Operations Center. Designed by Tom Wall of Mitchell Wall Architecture and Design and to be built by Pernikoff Construction, our new home will enable JSU to both enhance our existing programs and to expand our programming in ways we had only dreamed of until now. Some of those programs include an after-school drop-in center and homework clinic where students can come, have a safe place to chill, get help with their homework from volunteer and retired tutors and teachers, while being provided healthy and not so healthy snacks. We will be able to grow our Shabbat and holiday meal attendance from small groups to close to 100 teens. Teens will be able to gather to run their own Shabbat services. We will have classrooms for our college-accredited courses, adult chavurot, and family programs. Food is central to Jewish life. The kitchen will provide opportunities for the teens to come together to explore both the beauty and complexity of our traditional foods as they prepare the food for JSU events. One of the extremely popular activities, thanks to Chaya Manny, of late, not Chaya, but the activity, is challah baking and learning about the mitzvah of separating challah. There will be a community sukkah. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the slushy machines, the latte bar, cappuccino, soft serve ice cream machine, and other yummy treats taught to me by Rabbi Tendler to draw both young and the less young to frequent our new center. Those are just some of the ideas that the teens and staff have thought of to increase their touch points with JSU and their peers as they deepen their connection to Judaism. But more than that, a permanent home for JSU represents more than a working place. It creates a safe destination for Jewish teens, a space to learn, share, and grow as the next generation of communal leaders develop. For the community, JSU's new home reflects the best Jewish values, building and strengthening our community while nurturing our young people. JSU, its leadership and staff, sincerely hope you will join as we embark on this new and exciting journey of creating an enduring center for the future of JSU in St. Louis. And now, for our honorees.
Scott Biondo is our Jewish Community Security Director. Scott's role is to oversee all aspects of security, not just here at the Federation, but with all of our partners, with some of our faith partners, to be a liaison to local government and local law enforcement and national law enforcement, and to keep his eye literally on everything in our community.
He was trained to do executive protection. So he would travel with dignitaries and big companies, and he is one of those people that I feel it's his nature to want to bring peace to whatever community it is he's serving. And I think that in this community, that's extremely important.
Scott is amazing. I would say he is a mensch, right? And in Judaism, that's someone who has a soul and cares, and that is Scott. And he is not Jewish, but he has a Jewish soul. He knows every single person in this community, every leader, everybody who has a concern or an interest in security. He knows them. He understands the nuance that each individual institution needs. He makes sure his staff is aware of it. He is the most conscientious person I have met, and his level of trust that he has engendered because of that is incredible. It's unparalleled.
He cares about making sure people not only are safe, but they feel safe. He cares about people as people. He's not just here simply to tell us how to do something or which type of security system to buy. He's there to reassure, he's there to comfort, he's there to provide security in so many different ways.
He is an absolutely irreplaceable part of our community. He has been an absolute treasure. He is a communicator, he is a leader, he's an organizer. For an individual with that kind of experience, with that kind of ability to communicate through any kind of barriers and to talk to people, any denomination, any gender, anything, that's a skill that few people have.
So Scott's impact on the Jewish community, in a sense, is unseen because the work that Scott does prevents bad things from happening for all of us. And so there are those people that ask me, what does Scott do? Well, Scott helps facilities and organizations like JSU be safe so that we don't hear about something that happened. Scott's success comes from not hearing about what Scott does.
I believe Scott deserves every award that is out there. The way that he connects with people and organizations, the way that he innately understands their needs and makes sure that that is first, the way that he approaches everything with a smile, with a how can I help, and with an even temperament is outstanding. There are very few people like Scott.
I deeply respect my husband. He has an amount of integrity and kindness and true service that surpasses so many people I know. He is who he is at all times. It's not a show. It's not something he just does when he comes into work every day. It's who he is. And that speaks volumes because I have the privilege and the honor of being married to that man.
People see him, they know everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be safe. And right now, that's what the Jewish community needs. We need to know that we're going to be safe. We need to know that there is someone always looking out for us.
It is an incredible honor being recognized by the Jewish Student Union, JSU, for this Community Service Award. You know, I was always taught that community service was an obligation, but I guess it does feel good to be recognized. Growing up, I didn't really know what anti-Semitism was. Looking back, I can tell you that it didn't occur in my house and it didn't occur amongst the people that I knew. The Jewish population for me was always considered the chosen people of God. For you, Israel, are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his people, his treasured possession. A verse I remember from Deuteronomy. I truly believe that it was my faith that formed my advocacy for my now adopted family, this Jewish community, all of you. I have worked for this community for over 30 years. I was originally introduced to this community by Karen Aresti, the ADL. It was her that taught me about the plight of the Jewish people in terms of anti-Semitism and hate. When I received the request from the Jewish Federation to build the role of Community Security Director, a role that would be responsible for looking out for the community, it seemed right for me. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to give this community a sense of peace and a sense of security. And fortunately for me, the CEO at that time, Andrew Rehfeld, and the COO, Don Hannon, gave me that chance. It continues today with our current CEO, Brian Herstig, and my boss, Vice President Mendy Sharp, and so many of the people in this room who continue to support this very important mission. And speaking of missions, I'm really happy to be recognized by an organization that I'm both impressed with their mission and with their leadership. Rabbi Revensky, who I consider a true friend, is such a bonus. This is an organization that inspires teens. It inspires them to take pride in their Jewish identity. It also helps them to engage in all types of programs and services that will make Judaism meaningful to them. Identity is so very important to maintain. And despite the challenges, that's what makes all of you so, so special. JSU, you're the one, and your mission is deserving of accolades and awards. I want to thank my family for being here to support me. They're my strength. I'm blessed for each and every one of them. I'm happy to keep that my daughter from California and her husband are here to support me, that I have 3 of my sons and their spouses here tonight that live locally to support me. My other children would have been here as well, but couldn't for various reasons. And then finally, I have to thank God for my lovely wife, who is my support and my best friend. People in the community might tell you that when I'm faced with a should we or shouldn't we situation, I'll often say something like, stay the mission. Let me focus on the security. So JSU and all of you, stay the mission. I'll continue to do my mission of keeping this community as safe as I possibly can by working together with all of you, and hopefully we'll have a better future. So stay vigilant, stay safe, and thank you so much for this award.
Scott Biondo, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Gallant, please come forward. We had a question, what to get Scott, and he and I are going to go shopping a different day. But in Judaism, we know the shofar very often is, people know, connected to Rosh Hashanah, the coronation of God as king, a call to repent. What people may not be as familiar with is the shofar is the instrument that is used to call the Jewish people together and at times of war. Scott is an individual who brings us together and leads the war and the fight when necessary. Scott, we love you. And now for the Isaacs.
Judith and Ted are very giving people. They really give of themselves, their time, their talents, their resources, and over the years, decades that we've known them, they've been involved in a lot of different organizations in the community, oftentimes in very important leadership roles at the JCC, at the Jewish Federation, at the Holocaust Museum, B'nai Emunah, and so many other organizations. They've really rolled up their sleeves and gotten involved and made a big difference and an impact. It's not surprising, it's very fitting that they're being honored and awarded with this tonight.
They don't ask for much in return. They're really special leaders in this community. They always give, they support so many different organizations, both in the Jewish and the non-Jewish community. They are among the most welcoming, giving, and generous people.
Judith and Ted kind of have a silent impact on the Jewish community. I mean, obviously it's felt and it provides ripples, but they're not looking for praise, they're just looking to make an impact. And anything they get involved with, they have the opportunity to get others involved, and that's really where they're successful.
They believe that we should all serve in the Jewish community, and that's an important thing that we do. It's not a right, it's an obligation, and we all have that. And I know that they've instilled that in their 3 daughters, who are fantastic women. It's something that is important to hand off to our kids, and they're doing a really great job.
On behalf of me and my sisters, we wanted to share what a privilege it's been growing up in a family where giving back to our community has been such a big part of our lives. Seeing our parents volunteer, donate, and hold positions in organizations has been such a blessing to watch.
Ted has a great sense of humor, but he looks for his moments to really express that sense of humor. Doesn't necessarily want to be the person that everybody's looking at and the person in charge. He likes just to blend in. Judith, on the other hand, I mean, she is just all about being out there. I mean, she walks into a room and she's talking to everybody. She's just an extrovert. And she's just the most caring person in the world. I mean, you're always going to get a great hug from Judith.
I know that they've really placed a lot of importance and emphasis on their value for Jewish education. That was something that they wanted to instill in their own children, who are now 3 lovely young adults. And it's something that continues to be important to them in the community at large, and specifically the Jewish community.
They are definitely a rock in the community. They find a way to be involved in the community. They want the community to be better. They want to see the community thrive. And so they really focus on making sure that when they set their priorities, the community is extremely high on their priority list.
Ted and Judith have so many friends, and not just a collection of people, but they have really good friends. And I think that's a tribute to them. It's a tribute to how they treat other people, how welcoming they are. I know there are a lot of people in this community that if they were in need, if they called Ted and Judith, they'd be there for them.
You have been amazing role models, and the selflessness you taught us will be with us forever. Thank you for being devoted parents, but also great leaders in our community. We are so proud of you, and we are so proud to be your daughters. We love you so much.
I just want to congratulate Ted and Judith on the award that they're receiving and the recognition by the JSU. It's very well deserved.
Being involved in the Jewish community is important to us because being Jewish is important to us. We've both been involved in a lot of the different Jewish organizations. Our involvement has enriched our lives because when you feel like you're giving to something greater than yourself, it's the most rewarding gift.
At a very young age, we saw our parents be involved with Jewish organizations and volunteering and the importance of tzedakah. And so it was something that as I was growing up, I started getting involved with, and as a young adult became involved with the Federation and other organizations, and that was always important, and it just continued and continued on into other organizations, and it's been very fulfilling.
Jewish education is fundamental, in our opinion, to being Jewish, because if we don't know who we are and why we do what we do, it could feel very empty. We believe that developing a strong Jewish identity is done primarily through education, and this is one of the reasons that we support JSU, because what Rabbi Mike has done with the organization is incredible. From educational programs for youth of all denominations to a programs for adults. He and JSU have impacted the lives of so many, and then those people can further impact the lives of others.
Judith was part of JSU program, and Sophie, our youngest daughter, when she was in high school, she was part of the program as well. And it's just so important for our community as a whole to be understanding. And once you understand and are knowledgeable about other cultures, you most likely are going to be more tolerant. And it just makes it such a better community when people are tolerant.
The other important piece is the social opportunities that our St. Louis youth have to create relationships with one another. The Jewish population is a minority, and in some of our school districts and some of our private schools, the Jewish kids are really significantly the minority, and JSU gives the kids an opportunity to socialize and to create their own community of separate Jewish friends or like-minded friends, because there are non-Jewish kids who come to the JSU events. If they feel like they're lacking that kind of community or support in their own school, it balances that out for them.
And we just want to thank Rabbi Mike for all that he does with JSU, for choosing us for this award and honor, and continued success with the JSU program, with the new house that they're building and renovating, and we're really excited for the future of JSU.
Okay, Judith and Ted. You spend your time throughout our community dropping and inserting little sparks of holiness, of Kedusha. So we thought it would be appropriate, with a little bit of Bertie telling me, to reach out to Israel at this time and have for you from Hatzorfim a beautiful silver Kiddush cup, which reads, Judith and Ted Isaacs Jewish Engagement Award, JSU Gala 2023. You should use it for many, many Shabbatot and holidays and continue bringing holiness to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to share with you a look into the future home of the teens of our community. We are so excited. This has been a dream for so many years. The Jewish people wandered the desert for 40 years till they were able to come home to the land of Israel. Thanks to the support and vision of Michael Steinberg, the Orthodox Union, and so many others, we will finally have a place to call home.
I'm a developer and I understand how this goes. I helped review the plans. I hired Chris, who is the construction manager. If I can put people in the right place, in the right seat on the bus, I hope it'll turn out well.
Of course, the house is not replacing our core mission, which are the JSU clubs, but now we'll actually have offices to work out of, as well as the facilities to expand on those programs, including a homework clinic for kids, a drop-in center, classes that are college accredited, Friday night programming, Saturday programming. We'll have a venue for the students if they want to run their own creative Shabbat morning service or holiday service, they'll be able to do that. It's really just going to provide us an unbelievable opportunity to expand the services that we offer the teens, increase our impact both on their Jewish identity and connection to Israel.
JSU helps give these kids a facilitator and allows them to have a thoughtful conversation where someone is not just the kids. But if you have someone who's an adult in the room that can say, did you think about that? And who has the experiences to do something else, then they'll have those experiences.
We've been analyzing the facility since we bought it about a year ago, working with Mitchell Wall and Associates as our architect, and Pernikoff Construction, and Jeff Pernikoff in particular, trying to figure out the best way to maximize usage of the facility.
We've tried to keep budget within control in a lot of different areas. For example, we're not moving the staircase, but we are reinventing the staircase. The kitchen is more or less staying in place, but we are opening up the walls and expanding it into what had once been the dining room to create more of an open flow. By opening the staircase, we are able to have a visual connection from the kitchen all the way through to the library. And then ultimately, when we can do the addition and back, you'll be able to see out that way as well.
On the second floor will be all of our offices. Behind the house, we're adding a 1,500 square foot expansion and addition, and that will be what we'll call the great room. It'll be for all of our meals, keynote speakers, and then in the basement level, aside from the mechanical room, we'll have a couple of classrooms, and then the garage will be converted to a game room as well as a meeting room for the teens.
JSU is an organization that is a nonprofit that needs everybody in this room to support what we're trying to accomplish. It takes, as quote, a village. It's not one individual. Don't rely on the same people. Everybody here can help. And I hope I'm encouraging people to realize it's just not the words, but it's the actions that will make a difference.
Now more than ever, we are dealing with a generation that is stimulated visually and needs to be stimulated on a regular basis. They need to have the flash bang experience that is brought to them by TikTok and Instagram and things like that. By developing this house the way we have made it so it is a visually exciting place to be. It is an emotionally exciting place to be. And if done properly, if we are able to build this the way that we want it to be built, it is going to be a place that kids want to hang out.
I would like to ask all of our JSU ambassadors to please gather in the back of the room with Mrs. Penny Alper. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Yitz Staum.
Everyone who's here tonight is a partner in our mission, and we appreciate you so much more than you can know. And we felt that we would express it in the following way. Before the Holocaust, it's well known that a lot of parents brought their children to monasteries, convents, and they dropped their children off hoping that they'd be able to survive the war. And then after the war, they would come back and pick up their children. Unfortunately, as we know, most of those parents were not able to come back to get their children. But something fascinating happened. Now we understand there was more than one person, would go around to these institutions looking for the children. And when they were told that the children weren't there are no Jews here, they would cry out something that the Jewish children, if they were there, would know. He'd cry out the words, Shema Yisrael. And all of a sudden, children would answer, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Everyone who's here tonight is our partner in calling out Shema Yisrael, so that all of our Jewish children, all of our Jewish youth, all of our Jewish teens can answer that call, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. He raised his hand to say goodbye, saw the pain in mother's eyes, who left her little precious boy of 4 in a citadel of ashen stone, preached a faith unlike his own. Perhaps he just may yet survive this war. In the shadows stood a man in black. My child, he said, you must not look back. Yet one image lingered, the tears on her face, and mother's words from their last embrace. Shema, Shema Yisrael, know that there is but one God above. When you feel pain, when you rejoice, know how he longs to hear your voice. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Deep within the iron gate, far from the stench of war and hate, he knew not of a world gone insane. You must believe us, he was told. Our faith alone can save your soul. Please let us heal your wounds and ease your pain. He tried not to forget his past, his home, but he was so very young and all alone. While visions of his shtetl, once vivid and clear, began to fade and all but disappear. Shema, Shema Yisrael, know that there is but one God above. When you feel pain, when you rejoice, know how he longs to hear your voice. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. The winds of war had finally passed. One man took on a sacred task to bring the scattered Jewish children home. He traveled far from place to place, a quest to reignite the faith of those sent into hiding long ago. He entered the fortress gray and cold. Your kind are not among us, he was told. Hashem above, he whispered, please don't let me fail, as he began to sing, Shema Yisrael, Shema, Shema Yisrael. Know that there is but one God above. When you feel pain, when you rejoice, know how he longs to hear your voice. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, oh Shema, Shema Yisrael. Know that there is but one God above. When you feel pain, when you rejoice, know how he longs to hear your voice. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Shema, Shema Yisrael. Know that there is but one God above. When we feel pain, when we rejoice, know how He longs to hear our voice. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Oh, Shema, Shema Yisrael. Know that there is but one God above. When we feel pain, when we rejoice, know how He longs to hear our voice. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad.
How many remember her from last year? This is Audrey Roberts, our MC from last year. She had so much fun. She wanted to come back again. Audrey, you had a question.
Yes, I was wondering, how are we going to get from the street to our house?
Well, right now it's all mud.
Oh, well, I don't think we can walk that way, can we?
Well, we could.
How would we do that?
1 foot in front of another.
Well, yes, but I don't want my shoes to get dirty.
Oh, well, then we need a pathway. We need a sidewalk.
A sidewalk, of course, but what's it going to be made out of?
How about this? Okay. How about a brick sidewalk, and each brick can have the name of somebody on it, like in honor of a child, a grandchild, in memory of somebody?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great way for everyone to feel like they have a place in this home.
Cool. So, should we do it?
I think we should.
You guys think we should?
What do you guys think?
All right. We have a goal tonight. Let's build the sidewalk, the brick way. Ooh, whoa. Okay. Oh, I thought you were bidding, Penny. Gosh. Okay. Everyone in front of you has a white card on a stack on your table. Everyone, please take. Husbands and wives can do together. Or you can do separate. I don't mind. What we are going to be doing is we're going to give everyone the opportunity to purchase bricks this evening. The bricks come in 3 sizes. The first size is 8 by 12 inches, and that will be sold for $1,000 a brick. The second size is 8 by 8, and that will be $720. And the third size is 4 by 8, and that will be $360. You can purchase as many bricks as you'd like, what you want to put on them in honor of, in memory of, your favorite saying, or your enemy that you want someone to step on every time they come into the JSU house. We'll get all that information once we're ready to lay the bricks. The goal tonight is to fill that sidewalk, that brickway. All right, are we ready? Once you've filled it out, raise your card for the categories you want, and you can yell out how many you want to buy, and the bricks will magically light up. All right. Audrey, you want to do this?
I guess so. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start. Who would like to start us off with dedications at the 1,000 level?
$1,000 bricks. Number 137, 133, 187, 201, 125, 132, 200.
133.
381, 387. They're fighting with each other already.
259, 360. 341. 210. 218.
Thank you, honey. 192.
Wow. 276. 249. 214.
By the way, even if we fill this, you can still go further.
Yes, please do that. Any final takers? Thank you. Let's all give them a round. Alrighty, now we would like to lower it to the level of 720. Who would like to start off our bidding? Thank you, 121. Thank you, 364. Oh, wow. Thank you, 220, 197, 182, and 184. Thank you, 380. Thank you, 122. Thank you, 311. Anyone else? Do we have any final takers? Oh, for sure. Thank you. Alrighty, and now for the 360 level, if you would like to start. Thank you so much, 353. Thank you, 374, 396, 226, 337, 348, 363. Two at 226. We have a 379. We have a 188, a 189, a 191, a 194, a 112, a 139, a 101, a 176, a 124, a 146, a 198. We have a 171, a 136, a 305, a 251, a 256, a 227. Do we have anyone else? A 373, a 336. We have a 340, we have a 354, a 358. We have a 212. We have a 242. We have a 342. We have two over there. We have a 226 and a 282. We are so close to meeting our goal. Thank you. We have a 178. Anybody else want to help us complete our goal? So close. I don't want Audrey to get her feet muddy. I can't do it in these tall heels. And then you like sing, you know, and then oh, for sure. We have a 210. If you guys want to donate, make sure you stick them in the sky. We're being told a 112, a 139. Oh, are we done? Anybody who wants to save the day? We're so close. Oh my God, this is so stressful. Thank you all so much. A big round of applause to all of our donators.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final awardee for this evening. Please direct your attention to the video screens. Howie and Jackie, this is for you.
I have been absolutely blown away by the commitment that Howard and Jackie make to their community. Whether it was the show, the school, the food pantry, the VOD, they've been involved in anything and everything and have never said no to anything. And their commitment is unwavering. And honestly, it's something that I admire and look up to.
My dad is a very strong behind-the-scenes person. He does not need his name everywhere. He works with great humility, but great determination. He is very detail-oriented. He is very committed to the long-term success of the Jewish community. He wants us to thrive for many, many, many years to come. My mother is also incredibly, incredibly humble. Again, behind the scenes work. She is able to connect to people at a very meaningful level, a very deep level, to understand where they are and to give them exactly what they need with joy and with service.
Being able to watch them as I got older and really understand how their actions made an impact on the community directly, that inspired me to really get involved with the shoal and the school, and also kind of anything we can get our hands on to help out in this community that we love and that we want to watch our family grow up in.
When I think of Howard, I think of a community person. He was always involved in the tzibur. When I think of Howard, I think of what we say every Shabbos, right? Kol oskin b'tzorchei tzibur be'emunah kodesh baruch hu, right? People who work for the sake of the community, HaKadosh Baruch Hu blesses them because they need strength. It's never easy.
It's so inspiring to see individuals that the more you see of them, the more you admire them. I see myself as being a student of his and being able to be an influence in the community. They are involved in all things good and all things Jewish. I turn most often to Howard for fatherly advice and counsel and just a perspective which is so broadening and so helpful to me in my leadership capacity. And I feel blessed to be able to see Jackie every day in our school. She gives of her whole self to our children. The light keeps on getting brighter and brighter every time.
She's also the kind of person that so many people confide in, and she's really an ear to so many people in the community, and she absorbs it all and is just a huge support to many, many people, and that's really very sort of unknown. She's so very quiet about everything she does, but she really fulfills a crucial role.
Jewish education is clearly so important to my mother. She worked at Epstein Hebrew Academy for so many years. That passion is just as equal in my father. The ability for Jews to come together, to have a Jewish experience, to learn the same things that our ancestors learned, that gives him such immense joy. That's why it's important for him to support JSU, Epstein Hebrew Academy, and so many other important institutions in St. Louis.
For the longest time, she has been known as Mora Jackie throughout the community. I feel like people just know Mora Jackie. And now I feel like she's kind of upgraded, and now she's like Bubby Jackie to all these little kids. Like, they all call her Bubby Jackie too. And so it's just a testament to how she really makes you feel like you belong to her and that she cares about you.
You couldn't find two better people to represent the community and represent all that the community values. I don't think there's an organization in the Jewish community that hasn't been touched in some way by their contribution, their involvement, their devotion, and their dedication. They just get the whole package of how important the community institutions are and the community coming together and working together for the betterment for the future of the Jewish people is.
Jackie and Howard are just so deserving. They do so much for everyone around them, and they never do it in a way that makes you feel like you owe them something back. They're very, very giving people.
My parents deserve any award that involves community work. They show the love. They really show what it means to be part of a community, and it's truly inspirational.
When you have the opportunity to speak with my parents, to work with my parents, whether you're volunteering on a committee or maybe you're on a board, you know that these are people who love supporting each other, they love supporting the community, and they want us to be as strong as we can be.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. We're so happy for you. You deserve every honor your way. But also, I know that it's very hard for a mother to accept any honors. But just so you know, accepting these honors makes all of us just rise up a level. We've all grown a level. We've all become stronger, better people just by admiring you and being proud of you.
Good evening. Jackie and I thank you for presenting us with the JSU Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations also to Judith and Ted Isaac and my friend Scott Biendo. To those of you who know us, you know our life's mission has been to enhance and support our precious community institutions, be it with our time or our resources. This has not been accidental. We are proudly part of a chain that goes back generations. From the time I first met Jackie and got to know her family, I saw a passion and love for their Judaism, which made her a perfect match for me, and as many can attest to her incredible skill as a teacher at Epstein Hebrew Academy for 27 years, and now as a volunteer for the last few. My passion, too, comes honestly. From my grandparents who were activists in pre-war Germany to their activism in America when they came. My dad, Eric, spent hours regaling me in family history and never held back on his pushing me to fully understand what had happened to our family during World War II Germany and afterwards. While he never overtly encouraged me to take on any role, it is clear he was pleased when I did. Finally, I had the honor of learning about community leadership from my late uncle Israel Goldberg, who amongst the many other roles that he served as president of the St. Louis Jewish Federation and showed me what community work and leadership is really all about. Sadly, today our Jewish community is in desperate need of Jewish leadership. leadership shown from Rabbi Mike and his JSU team, the nightmare of the massacre on Simchas Torah on October 7, and the massive protest by brainwashed people who can't condemn barbarism makes educating our Jewish youth of all backgrounds an imperative. Rabbi Mike, Rabbi Staum, and Sam, your task has never been more vital than now. Our community is behind you, and we thank you.
Community work has always been an important factor in our lives. As teenagers in college, we partnered together to be involved in organizational work. Even before we were married, we felt the euphoria of being part of the heartbeat of our Jewish community. I was raised in a family who basked in supporting shuls and Jewish schools. They walked the walk and talked the talk. Totally and completely committed. They were supporting and encouraging, so I really did not even think about being involved. I just did it. And my grandparents' tradition has passed on to yet another generation. We are incredibly proud of our 3 children. They work tirelessly to support Jewish institutions. Our oldest, Mandy, who is known worldwide as Mandylicious, just donated proceeds from a Gala class to support Israel. Dahlia and her husband, Jeff, are both very involved in Jewish causes. Dahlia is on the board of the St. Louis Jewish Federation, and Jeff is president of the Epstein Hebrew Academy. And our youngest, Max, just became the president of our shul, Young Israel. JSU is an incredible organization led by incredible people. Rabbi Mike, Rabbi Staum, and Sam have given these amazing high school students an opportunity to shine as future Jewish leaders. And boy, do they shine. They are the neshama, the soul of JSU. Right now, it is so important to learn about our Jewish heritage, and they are not only learning, they're excited about it. I am so proud of the leaders of JSU, so proud of the students of JSU, and so proud to be part of it.
Howard, Jackie, come forward, please. There's a beautiful teaching in the Talmud that speaks of a man who was hungry, hot, thirsty, tired, and he was walking through the desert and came across a tree by a brook. So he sat down, drank from the cold water of the brook, enjoyed the shade of the tree, ate from the fruit of the tree, and took a nice nap. When he was done, he turned to the tree and said, "Tree, oh tree, how can I thank you? To have a cool brook running by your feet, you already have. To have delicious fruit, you've already been blessed. To provide abundant shade, you already have that as well. So the only blessing I can give you is that all the saplings that come from you should become just like you." Howard and Jackie, we commissioned this beautiful artwork produced by Barbara Ast with that piece of Talmud. Elon, Elon, tree, oh tree, how can I bless you? That your children and all the saplings that come from you should become just like you. And it is the Oppenheimer family tree. You may be seated. We are almost done. Nathan? Nathan, oh, there you are. It was just brought to my attention that there were not enough numbered cards on your table. So if you were interested in purchasing a brick and you did not have a card, please see either Alana or me afterwards.
As we conclude tonight's program, I ask all of you to please rise as I call upon Max Oppenheimer to lead us in Hatikva as a sign of solidarity with our fellow Jews in Israel, but even more importantly, a reminder to ourselves, as the JSU staff has awakened in us, the centrality and integrity of the land of Israel to the Jewish people.
This one sounds better if we do it together. Kol od balevav v'nima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulefate mizrach kadima ayin litzion Sophia. Oh, lo avda tikvateinu, ha-tikva bat shnot alpayim, liotam chofshi beyarteinu, Eretz Zion, Yerushalayim, liotam chofshi Be'arteinu Eretzi V'Yerushalayim.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to stay as long as you would like. Dessert is on both sides of the buffets. Relax, the bar is still open. The official program has concluded. Thank you for coming. And we look forward to seeing you during the year and next year.